You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. My feet have come too far for you to tie 'em to the ground. You can't stop me now. Can't stop me now. Set my sights on where I'm going at. Things turning back around. You can't stop me.
Well, good evening and welcome to Conversations with Aeson, also known as Coffee Chat. Tonight I've got Flora with us. She is the winner of the painting choice for the logo for Central West Virginia Pagan Pride. But you do a lot more than just paintings. Let's talk about the painting that was chosen. You've done a couple of them. Where did you get into those at?
Well, I started a long time ago, and my mother gave me her oil box from when she was a teenager, and I just kind of learned on my own. I first started out with watching Ross do his wet paintings real fast, and then I went off on my own and I started doing paintings that I liked, which I have a couple for to use it to see, because all of my paintings that I do now pertain to my craft.
Mm-hmm.
So I love doing those, and it makes me happy. But I can show you a couple. Would you like to see?
Yes. Now we have the one for the logo preloaded that we're going to show and talk about here in a minute.
There she is.
Yes.
There she is. There she is. Well, I started painting. I don't know if you can see too well.
Ooh.
Like women. I know.
Yeah.
And then I went to women's wig hats. And then I got into a little, you might say, let me turn it.
Landscaping.
Right.
Yeah.
I did that. And then I started doing paintings kind of myself.
See. Very nice.
For my bedroom.
And
then I need my kitchen is done all in Italian. My husband is Italian, so I had to paint paintings that pertain to food and Italian.
So you've done a few different styles.
Right. Let me just move them out of the way. There we go. So see, I can do just about anything. But my passion is my craft. And once I let myself go and said, go ahead and paint some moons, then everybody started wanting them. And I was thrilled because I knew I wasn't the only one that was interested in anything having to do with Wicca, solitary witches, fairies, elves, the whole 9 yards.
Right. Well, let's go ahead and bring up
magic.
Let's go ahead and bring up, because we have this one. This is the logo that was chosen through the contest. How was it working on this one?
Actually, I had a lot of trouble on the moon, the exact moon, because I had to have it late enough so the wolf would stand out and his mouth open to howl. And I wanted him in the clouds. he's just up there with
Mhm.
the moon and
Right.
on the ledge.
Right. And what's so interesting and what probably people don't realize, and I bet it was a pain in the neck to do, was to get the two different whites then.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So
Gonna
how
lie.
many moons is actually painted there is my question. Like when they x-ray this in 200 years, how many different moons are they going to see there?
I'm very good with making circles. So
Uh-huh.
actually, you will see darker clouds in the moon, maybe, but that's it.
Uh-huh. Ah.
What you see is what it is.
Mm-hmm. Very cool. But no, guys, this is the new logo for this year's Pagan Pride. Of course, Central West Virginia Pagan's Pride is the howl. Is our theme this year because we
Oh,
are calling in the tribes. We are calling the packs down, and things are doing really well with that. Um, and we've put out the information. It
I have
is,
her right here,
yes.
the original, ready to go.
It is. But this is August 28th. My AR just said it was the end of the month, guys. It is not. It will be August 28th. Right? It's
Correct.
not the correct. I was going to say, or my calendar is messed up. So Techie Joe will be fixing that. I am quite sure to update the information. So when you paint, do you get lost? Do you lose time?
Absolutely. I put on headphones and listen to music,
Mm-hmm.
and time gets by me, and the hours go by. The sun goes down. I know
Uh-huh.
I can start getting hungry, and I know I have to clean up
Mm-hmm.
until the next day.
Right, because this is you work in a specific type of paint. What paint do you work in?
I work in only oils.
Right, which is different than the acrylics and the waters, of course, but it takes longer to dry, and you actually have to build layers there, I believe.
Correct. You do.
Yeah.
You start with the background and work your way towards you.
Mm-hmm.
So when I'm driving or whatnot, I always see what's in the background.
Uh-huh.
I have David teaching me tarot cards, and
Uh-huh.
my mind automatically goes to background. So I
Which is
see
highly important.
things ahead of time.
Right. And but no, the backgrounds in tarot is very simplistic. Do you hide symbols into your paintings?
Um, Symbols that mean things to me. Mostly birds. The
Ah.
crow. I'm sorry. It, it's very unusual to not have crows in my paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's the crows. I love the birds soaring in the background.
Uh-huh. Um, Now, Pagan Pride isn't the only event you're doing. You're actually getting ready to go to another show this Friday.
Tomorrow,
Tomorrow, yes. Tell everybody
yes,
about that event.
ah, Sacred Yana, which is Adam and Nicole, opened their shop during the pandemic. And I don't know if it's because of COVID or whatnot, but people are starting to come out of the broom closet.
Hmm.
That's what I call it.
Right.
And their shop has tripled or quad in a year. They started out very small, a couple shelves, into they have an inventory of just about anything you want. And if you don't want it, they'll get it. But
Right.
including, they sell my paintings and my wands exclusively. I'm
Right.
not using any other shop. They're great people. They do a lot for the community. Um, and tomorrow is their first year anniversary. And for a business to boom in 1 year is fantastic, especially during COVID. I mean, I'm happy you can see my teeth.
Yeah. I know. I think it's so wonderful. One, to get a shop in that area. Two, to get a shop that that literally they opened during the pandemic. They've built community during the pandemic. But I think it also speaks to our need for spirituality and spiritual shops in this state. I mean, I think there's five in this state that I would consider a full spiritual shop. We've got Moe's, Earth Magic in Morgantown, Sacred Yana, um, and then there's one in Bluefield that I've not dealt with, a few up there. Then we have Barefoot Gypsies in Milton. They just opened a new shop. And then, you've got, Crystal Lotus, who has some metaphysical stuff, but they're not really a spiritual witch store that you can walk in and say, I need some mugwort, I need some rose quartz, and while we're at it, do you have any sage in?
Ah, yes, praise. Speak it. I was fortunate to live in Las Vegas for 5 years under a coven, and they had every herb that you would need for anything. So I started buying jars. I sold my paintings there, and with them I bartered. I got their herbs. I've got great stuff, and Nicole and Adam are also expanding in that. One of the things is my wands. I just had taken them there a week and a half ago, and I said, "What do you think?" I made my own first wand when I was coming out of the burn closet, and I enjoyed doing it. And I said, "That's an alternate to painting, because my paintings are layered, so they have to dry. And then once they dry, I have to treat them. And so in between time, I have the option of having a lot of trees around me, different types of trees. And I started making wands, and I said, I brought 3 wands through their shop, and they were like, oh, yes, let's sell them. So it's been about a week and a half. I'll find out tomorrow, because I'm taking an additional 2 boxes of wands with me. I left 2 out in case somebody wanted to see them.
Definitely, we want to see them if they're handy.
Okay.
Okay.
I want to say thank you to Lady Gwendolyn for realizing that I did have a potential to make the logo for Pagan Pride and gave her choices.
Yeah.
I want to give her kudos. And for everybody else that actually voted, I'm going to be honest, I wanted the other painting to win, but
But you
The
find that with
community
artists.
spoke, and that
Yeah. But you find that with artists, or at least I have. The artist will have a painting or a painting that they just love to death. And it will sit on their shelf for 300 years. They will throw stuff, paintings that they don't really care about. Like, I bet the Italian painting there will sell like hotcakes because it's not your favorite. You have no interest in it. It was just a project to do. Gone off the shelf faster than it can dry.
it was, yeah, it was something to put in my dining room. And actually,
Exactly.
it has three other partners,
Uh
you
huh.
know, that go with it. So there's four
Right.
paintings in there. I
Right.
just wanted to show, you know, some people might say, oh, painting a moon is nothing and water. And, you know,
Yes, it
I
is.
want people to know that I can do
Mm-hmm.
intricate stuff.
Right.
But it doesn't follow my path. And I believe everybody should follow their own path.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
this is my path.
right. And, I find that artists themselves are their worst critics. They're hardest as can be. They will nitpick over every little piece, every little detail. And it's like, no one is going to see the third layer of that water, I promise you, because you're going to cover it up with a wave in a minute. And they will still have to get that wave correct because it looks to them they can see every layer there.
You know a lot of artists, don't you?
I do. I've worked with some wonderful artists over my time as a psychic because we tend to get bunked together at events and fairs. And I've worked and been models and, as a model or this and that and another. And for a while there, I, managed a few artists and I understand and have watched oil painting take 3, 6, 8 months about
Yes.
it. And really get it. And there's a lot of, um, especially intricate work like our logo. How long did that take you, hours wise?
Hour wise, I I can tell you days.
Okay, how many
Hour
days?
wise, it took about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And that's not working on it every day, but
Mm-hmm.
it's working on it down in on my stool that spins,
Uh huh.
and working 4, 6, 7 hours on it.
Right.
So I put a lot of time into her or him,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. I usually name them,
Uh huh. Well,
even
and
my
that's
vehicle.
yeah. Now here's a question: did you remember to sign it?
Absolutely.
I
I
have
go
noticed,
back and
and
forth.
right.
Yeah. And actually, my maiden name is Brooks.
Uh
Um,
huh.
uh, on my father's side, I'm American Indian, hence
Uh huh.
there.
Yeah.
Um, and but it seems to be that there's birds. If you notice, there's crows in
Mm-hmm.
this painting.
There is.
Also,
Um, but no, I don't know. I always have had a battle with artists getting them to sign their works, especially ones that aren't like in big galleries or they just paint on the side. And I'm like, do you know how many Mother Moseses are out there that are unsigned? And it's like, we love this painting. We just don't know who to give credit to it as because it's not signed. And it's like, oh, come on. Can we just get some
correct.
signatures? I've handed pen markers to artists at art shows and say, go sign everything you've got on that table or I'm taking the table down. Because, and,
I
It's
I
important.
actually signed some of Brooks, my
Hmm.
maiden name. And then some of them I signed Santagata, and
Uh-huh.
I always put the
Right.
date under them.
Right. Because, I've got a beautiful oil painting in one of my bedrooms. It's unsigned. So here's the difference. When I had to have it evaluated for insurance, they could date the painting because it's got the date. So, it's worth 250 because it's dated for the 30s. But the artist never signed the painting. So we don't know who painted it ever. But it's a
Oh, that's
gorgeous,
a
gorgeous
shame.
piece.
That's a
I
shame.
know. It is. That's why it's so important, especially in today's time of trying to put everything together, trying to trying to track like your work catalog. Let's say in 20 years, you get picked up by the New York Times for one of your paintings. Every one of your paintings go up in value um, by thousands of dollars. But the original, like the little Italian piece, if it isn't signed, they can't add that to your catalog at Christie's. And that's why, like, if you're changing your
Yeah,
signatures, to keep a record of those signatures somewhere in your estate, because
yeah,
you own the rights to those paintings. Anybody that paints a
right.
picture, they own the rights, and it's becoming a really big copyright thing. How do you deal with it as an artist?
Um, I say that one more time.
How do you deal with copywriting as an artist nowadays?
You know what? To me, it doesn't matter if someone wants to sit down with oils and try to copy any of my paintings. Well, I'm that makes me proud.
Uh-huh.
Um, Now, if someone, I never want to do any prints
Uh-huh.
because prints, you know, if someone might like it and they pass away and someone comes in and says, this is it's a moon with a wolf howling. It's worth
Right.
nothing. And they ditch it. It's like a
Right.
poster.
Right.
So I will never do, at this point, I feel if it's not the real thing, it's not real oil, it's not on a canvas, and it is not signed and dated by me, it's not mine.
Right.
So if somebody goes and takes my painting and makes it a print,
Mm-hmm.
I don't have anything copyrighted, and they can do that, but it's not going to
Right.
mean the same thing as the original oil paint,
Right.
right?
Right. But your concepts, your ideas, your hours, days, weeks of work in there, it's important to make sure that it's signed for the next generation, for
Yeah.
someone that buys it as a gift. And here's why. Every one of those paintings, I don't know, I'm going to say average your paintings sell for about 250. Just ballpark,
Each
most of them.
one is each one is individually priced. I can tell you
Right.
that. Um, I don't want them to be so high that
Right.
someone can't enjoy them. So
Right.
if I see someone that says, that's beautiful, I love
Uh-huh.
that so much,
Uh-huh.
but I can't spend that much money on a painting. I'm the type of person, I'll lower it because
Right.
I know that painting is going to a good home. It's
Right.
someone who will appreciate it, where
Mm-hmm.
it's not going to end up in someone's attic.
Right. Um, Now, oil paintings are different, um, animal than like watercolors that have to be sealed. Oil paintings have to be sealed too, but they're one of the paintings that you can actually physically clean. Like a lot of people don't
Yes.
think that you have to clean oil paintings.
Yeah. If you notice that all the paintings that were done in oil centuries start to crack.
Hmm.
But that's centuries.
Right.
So with a watercolor, say,
Hmm.
if you have water damage in your home, it's gone. It's gone. You can't get that back. Whereas an oil painting, you might have to have the canvas restretched a little bit and reframed,
Hmm.
but you can take a Clorox wipe and wipe it down if you live in a dusty home, which I kind of do. And
Right.
especially in my work art studio,
Hmm.
um, I'm actually, doing wands and I've
Hmm.
got wood shavings on my floor, but
Right.
clean them up afterwards. And if anything gets on the paintings, it comes right off.
Yeah.
And, I have 4 German Shepherds. If someone comes in out from the rain and does a shake and it goes everywhere,
Uh huh.
Clorox wipe, it comes right off. And the
Right.
painting is still preserved. It's like nothing ever happened to it.
Exactly. And that's the difference between oil and acrylic, because acrylic gets the same amount of damage and it holds on to so much stuff. Um, Now, do you stretch your own canvases, or do you buy canvases, or do you have you like tried painting on other surfaces than canvas?
I'll be honest with you. I tried stretching my own canvas, and it's not just stretching it. You have to prime it. It By the time you get done doing all that, you don't feel like painting.
Uh huh.
So what I do is I actually buy my canvases already ready to go because most of them I have to prep them.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Oh, she dropped out. Hopefully, she'll be right back. She is awesome.
um,
She's coming back to us. There you are.
yeah,
Welcome back.
what the heck was that?
Internet blanking. Welcome to thunderstorms in West Virginia.
Tell
So
me
anyhow,
about it.
it was has been awful. But you were talking about stretching. That you tried stretching it once, and it's like, no, that's too much work. So what do you do when you get a canvas?
It depends on. I sit down and I already have an image, like I'll
Hmm.
see something and say, "Oh, I'm going to paint that."
Hmm.
So, um, most of my moon paintings, I have to prep the canvas in all black, sometimes all pink, sometimes all orange.
Hmm.
And that has to dry for me to go back and work my way out.
Right. Um, you were telling me during one of our Skype chats about a new painting that you were doing. Is she done yet?
And of course not, but I can give you a sneak peek.
Well, tell our
You want to
listeners
see?
about it first.
Well, we're going through this Mercury retrograde, and I've been personally um, had some relationship issues, and I feel like I'm on fire and I'm just burning up. And you know what? I'm so positive. I'm going to make a picture of me coming out of flames. And that's how she started. She is coming out of flames. You want a sneak peek?
Yes, I'd love a sneak peek with this painting. It sounds very enjoyable.
Okay. Now remember, I have work to do.
Yes.
And it's wet.
Yes, very pretty. That is gorgeous.
I don't know.
Yeah. I think that is just going to be amazing. It's still in process, but at least we get to see a little bit of the early workings of the painting.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because no matter what life throws at you, I've learned through being a solitary witch that you can change anything. You can turn it around. You know, you don't just get one shot and it's done.
Right.
You might have a life and it might end, and then you can decide whether you're going to Summerland or if you believe you're going to heaven or whatever. Whatever you can do now to make you happy and other happy, I believe you should do that.
Right.
It's difficult.
Right.
To deal with personalities and relationships. But when you see something toxic, you know to get away from it. And how I do it is I'm coming out of the fire.
Exactly. And, you know, my father, you know, there was I think there's a country song, and my father, I think, stole the quote from it. Going through hell, own it. Walk through like you own the place. And I think my dad had a quote that said, my father had a quote that said, if you're going through hell, own it. Walk through it like you own the place.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think that is true for Wiccans. When we're going through transformation, we need to own that stuff. We need to take residence up there, go through the transformation, burn off all that old crap, and start over.
Exactly.
So
you
important.
can't.
Yeah.
Right. And that's in all religions that are based on Christianity, that you can go and start a new day tomorrow.
Right.
Like, you know, some people think me being a solitary witch, I'm going to hell. Well, I don't believe in hell. I believe in the power of three. I believe what you put out in the universe comes back to you 3 times fold. So I don't like to mess with anybody. And maybe it comes out in my paintings. I have a painting of, pardon me?
I think it does, that recreation. Like, have you ever sat down with the idea of, I'm going to paint this, and halfway through the painting, you're like, hand me that white, let's start over. New picture, new image.
I've done that not too many times, but I can tell you in March, I did. I started a wolf painting, and I was having a confrontation with someone, and no matter what I did to the painting, I'm like, you know what? This painting has bad vibes. I'm not going to eat. I'm just putting it aside and getting rid of it. I just put it aside because all of my paintings, I want in peak tones to have love and light, to be positive, to make people happy. And if I'm not feeling it to paint one day, then I'm not going to paint. Because I know that paint is going to end up somewhere. And I don't want to pass that and negative energy to someone else
Right. Very much so. And that's
with
really
my wand.
well, exactly like your wands. Now, tell us about your wands. We haven't really we touched that you make them,
Okay.
but tell us about your process there. How it's different than the Harry Potter wands.
Okay. So on my property, I am blessed to have different trees. That's a German Shepherd trying to open the door. Um,
Uh-huh.
I have different trees. I have pear, apple, walnut, maple, um, just so many that I can choose from. And if not, I can take a walk in the woods and find anything I want. Which
Mm-hmm.
a lot of people ask for willow. And believe it or not, willow is not, I think they get a portrayal of willow being the sacred wand. I think
Mm-hmm.
somebody needs to look up different types of wood, and
Mm-hmm.
all the wood I do is like positive.
Right.
Holly. Holly is one of the best wands you can make.
You're right.
Um, and every wand I sell, it tells you about that because it's all hand done.
Mm-hmm.
I go to a tree. If
Mm-hmm.
I don't find a branch in the ground, or I ask the tree, "Hey, you mind giving up this branch?" And I never get a no. I
Right.
don't hear anything negative. And afterwards, I water the tree to thank it for letting me take it.
Right.
Then I let it dry out.
Mm-hmm.
And also, what I do is I have my grandfather's old knife that he used to whittle with and make baskets. And I take off the bark with it, and it does a
Mm-hmm.
great job. And I swear his spirit is with me while I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I take it off and then I let the wand dry because it has to dry.
Right. Because it's
Then
still
I'll
green
usually
wood.
paint. Right,
Yeah.
right. So I let it dry. Once I let it dry, then I actually have a wood burner tool, and I would burn runes into the top of the wand.
Mm-hmm.
And then I've tried different things, but to be honest with you, when you're making something like that, it has to be eye appealing. And I
Mm-hmm.
use a clear polyurethane on it, so you see
Mm-hmm.
the natural wood.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a little bit shiny, and
Mm-hmm.
I usually use um, what they call leather lace.
Uh-huh.
Some I don't, and most of them I do. And
Right.
at the tip of the wand, I buy real crystals from
Mm-hmm.
Sacred Yana, and I
Mm-hmm.
put a real crystal at the end of it with a point.
Right.
Um, Clear amethyst, um, red uh, jasper, I think it's
Mm-hmm.
called. Um, I've even used rabbit fur as a
Uh-huh.
handle on one of mine that's on holly. Um, they say the rabbit always goes in the holly bush.
Uh-huh.
Um, I actually made a couple I call girl wands that had
Mm-hmm.
feathers on them. And of course, the
Uh-huh.
only feathers I have around me are turkeys, and they're not very appealing,
They're
eye
not
appealing.
very visually appealing, but they are very grounding. You know, because turkeys can't fly.
They are,
You know, um,
but I wear makeup. I'm not chasing turkey.
uh-uh. No, very much not, because it will sweat off in a heartbeat unless you coat that with an old aqua net you can find. Literally, you have to have shipped in. But with the wands and the different stones, how do you mount them? Because there's a lot of conflicting things about you're supposed to use resin or you're supposed to. What do you mount yours with?
Um, you mean what do I put them in?
You, where's my? Oh, okay. I guess it's gone hiding. Oh, no, there it is. What do you mount this crystal with? What do you hold the crystal?
Okay, I that is with the actual lace,
Uh huh.
the leather lace.
Uh
That's
huh.
how I bind the crystal to it. And I usually put a charm at the end of it.
Right.
Um, uh, Different charms for different people that
Mm-hmm.
have, you know, a wand is something very personal.
It
And
is.
yeah, it's very personal. You pick it up, you have a good feeling about it. You read the little tag that says, "Okay, I'm Apple, and this is the kind a person should be using it." Um,
Mm-hmm.
or and sometimes it feels right. I mean,
Right.
I that's the way I pick all my crystals I have. Anything I
Uh huh.
buy
Uh huh.
that's related to my religion is is done. It says, "Pick me, pick me. Hey,
Yes.
I want to go home with you."
Uh huh.
So I know that people are going to be the same way also.
Right.
Um, some of them
And I think
are
you make a
manly.
very valid
Some are,
point too about when you say you use real crystals, because our market is getting flooded, especially for like Wish and everything else. Those aren't real crystals; they are dyed glass.
doesn't that drive you crazy?
Insane, insane.
Yes, you can go on Amazon and buy a Harry Potter wand for 49.95 or whatever, and it's plastic.
Uh huh.
Now, if that's your price range and all you can do, go ahead, buy it, and try to cleanse it. Because with all my wands, it comes with notations that you should name your wand, you should cleanse it, how to cleanse it, um,
Mm-hmm.
and you could go that way. But if you're using it for any rituals or anything, let's just say a real religious Wiccan would not
Right.
use a plastic wand.
No.
It just doesn't happen. Either you make one or you buy one where you know you're actually getting it from. You know
Right.
the person is positive. They're not demonic, or because I don't do anything demonic. That's why I
Right.
don't touch the black walnut tree. Um, I will if someone asks me to, but other than that, I don't.
Yeah. Black walnut in
But
general
people
is
use
used for a specific reason. In both positive and negative magic, it has a very strong connotation. Um, to have that balance. Someone using a black or wanting a black walnut one should know what they're asking for.
you, that is exactly why I have laminated tags that
Uh huh.
says what every tree
Uh-huh.
represents. So you can say, okay, I'm a healer, so
Uh-huh.
I want this. Or, um, I'm not, I've got so many things going on. I'm never stable. Relationship, well, I want this.
Mm-hmm.
And believe it or not, Holly is, it gets a bad rap for some reason that
Mm-hmm.
it's not for good for making wands. But I've researched it, and actually, it's one of the best. It's
Right.
better than Willow.
Right.
Everybody
It
thinks, oh, Willow. I want one out of Willow.
and what's weird
Did
is
you look
even though
it up?
Willow, yeah, even though Willow is one of the non-sacred trees, it's probably one of the hardest wands to use to project the energy out of because it's so flexible.
Not, not only that, it's properties. I could read to you,
Mm-hmm.
what is for Willow, but
Yeah.
it's not. I don't know where people are thinking, oh, it's got to be Willow. You need
Right.
to actually do your homework, or when you look at my wands, read and say, oh, that's me. That's
Right.
okay. That's me. I'm an apple. I'm a pear. I'm a maple.
Right.
I'm a holly, you
Right.
know? And you can actually pick them up. And I, I actually buy boxes that are made for wands, but
Mm-hmm.
they're beautiful on the outside. I can show you. I
Right.
mean, this is the top of one,
Right.
okay, and it's got little clips. Oh, sorry, it's got little clips, and it also has inside on each end little U's, so the
Mm-hmm.
wand sits on it. Now,
Uh-huh.
what I didn't like about them is they're not lined. They're
Right.
just wood,
Right.
not lined. So if you notice, let me take this one out. I actually line mine.
Uh-huh.
This one happened to be, I don't know if you can see the U
Yeah.
parts.
I
That's
can.
one on over here.
Yeah.
Okay. I line them with either purple or red velvet right now.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the two colors that have been calling to me.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but the wand sits directly in it. Now, here is one that I have made, and I call this one of the 50 wands.
Mm-hmm.
If you take a look, you can see the runes,
Uh-huh.
and it's got an amethyst, real crystal. I'm going to say
Mm-hmm. There you go.
at the end.
You, uh-huh.
And at the end of this one, I'm thinking this belongs to a Cancer,
Uh-huh.
someone that it's a, it's a crab.
Uh-huh.
So I'm thinking, but it's you can see by the lace,
Uh-huh.
and I always put my runes up top.
Right.
So this is one of my 50 ones. I'll be honest with you.
Ah.
I made that because um, I'm a girl, and that also is holly, so it was
Right.
perfect for it.
Exactly. But
Let me see.
you
I
call
got
them
it.
foofy. Think about it if you're in a huge circle, like 200 people, which is where like I use my big elder one at. Is when I'm in huge circles and I'm needing to direct energy far out and people need to be seeing what's going on with the wand. That's going to be so much easier to see than this one.
Right. Correct. Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I made it. 50 probably is. I just say 50 but
Mm-hmm.
I think of it as being more feminine.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, teal can be either or.
Or
So,
right.
it might go to an owner that is
Uh-huh.
male. I
Right.
just say I made I made it so it was girly, kind of.
Uh-huh. Right.
Um, is another box.
Ooh. And I love how you decorate the
The
boxes.
lock. I know. I was so thrilled to find that. This
Uh-huh.
is an apple, and this is the purple
Mm-hmm.
where I
That's
lined
pretty.
it with purple.
Uh-huh.
And I'll show you the wand. I'm taking them to Pagan Pride and tomorrow to
Uh-huh.
Securiana. This
Right.
is an amethyst. I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to find a way to get it. This
Put your
is
hand behind the
apple, and I
stone.
don't know if you,
Ooh, that's gorgeous. Yeah.
and
Beautiful
that is
white.
also nice amethyst. And
Mm-hmm.
at the end of this one is also a charm of someone that's a Scorpio, a Cancer, one of the water signs.
Right.
I'm a water sign, I'm a Cancer.
Right.
So, I'm going to do things that I like first until
Exactly.
people say, hey, I want this or I want that.
Mm-hmm.
And the wand, when you buy a wand, it should be either in a box. I don't want to drop it. I don't know if I can turn it sideways. It should be sitting in your box,
Uh-huh.
or you can magnify it even better by having it on a crystal. Um,
Right.
or the only place I've actually seen where you can actually place a wand on a crystal is at Sacred Yana, because they have big ones
Uh-huh.
that you can find a way to stand it up, which would be
Uh-huh.
totally cool, which I'm going to try tomorrow. I'm going to try that
Uh-huh.
with my rabbit, my holly rabbit. Um,
Uh-huh.
or mine, actually, I was fortunate enough years ago to get a crystal that's real long and it's flat, and my
Uh-huh.
wand sits directly on top of it.
Right.
So they should, and you should charge them every full moon, also,
Oh, of
as you
course.
do with any of your crystals. You
Right.
know,
And they need to be treated because they're a blend of earth, of pure earth energy. So, they need to be treated and kept on altars. That's why, Alex lives over here on the altar where he belongs.
Alex.
Uh-huh.
Okay, I named
Yeah.
mine Hermione after my German Shepherd.
Ah, very cool. Well, honey, it's been great
Yeah.
talking with you and showing yourself off. I can't wait to meet you in person at Pagan Pride. Be looking because I will stop by her thing. I do need to take care of some business, though. I want to say thank you to our baristas. They make these conversations possible. We're able to do a lot more podcasts, a lot more content for you guys. And, when we look at our baristas, I want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy Kathy, um, Mary Winfield, Brenda
Don't forget
Bryant,
though.
Ashley Grants, Shannon C, and Shannon D. If you guys are interested in supporting the coffee shop, please go visit our Patreon at pcspnetwork.com. All right, guys, you have a great evening. We will be back on Friday night with Mountain Bears. And of course, back in the co host seat, then will be Tacky Joe. Until then, bye, y'all.
day long, but I've been through the fire and come out alive, and there's no more fear in my eyes. Oh, now I'm rising, and you can't bring me down. You can't stop me now.